right, are we on? All right. How's it going, everybody? So, everybody turn towards that camera, wave, and say, "Hi, YouTube." I don't think this is quite a record, but this is a borderline of a record for attendance in quite a while. So, glad to see that. For the faces that don't know me, I'm Lynn Francis, KW4WL. There's a couple of new faces here. So, Dan, how long do you think your presentation, where is Dan?
Right here.
There you are. How long do you think you're going to take?
It won't take too long. I'm hoping for a lot of questions.
Okay.
You know, a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be explaining every little detail of things, and people have questions about all kinds of things. So
perfect.
It'll be 30 minutes if nobody opens their mouth, and you know it might be an hour if they do.
All right. Well, that gives me enough time to say, since we have some new faces, why don't we go around the room one time, say who we are, and I don't know how long you've been a ham. And I said I'm Lynn, KW4WL. About 8 years, I guess, I've been a ham.
I'm Farrell, N4FRL, and let me count.
for Winter Field Day 2024, and you'll find the page. For anyone that's wondering why I'm wearing a binary shirt, okay. Now I don't know if it actually says that. I've not looked it up on an ASCII table or anything. But over the weekend, I went down to Alpharetta to the Computer Museum. Has anyone been down to the Computer Museum? It's right there in Roswell. It's like $10-15 to get in. It's actually worth going down, wandering around. They've got a bunch of Silicon Graphics, Cray computers. Well, there's walking down the supercomputer line. They've got a thing on landing on the moon. They've got, they have a, what was it? Enigma machine. They've got one of those there, so that's really cool to look at. It's well worth going and spending some time. I decided to buy a t-shirt just to support them. And, let's see what this does. Uh-oh, that didn't do anything. Hey, Paul, are we actually on the air?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna close that and just say you're right. All right, well, Dan, I'm just gonna let you run with it.
Okay. How do I change pages?
Just hit the space bar, or you can use this. So
Okay.
this, turn it on. The green button is actually a laser,
Okay.
and then you can go left and right.
Okay. Very good.
Or that's the theory. Oh, you're already mic'd up? Good.
I am. So you hearing me back there, Paul? Okay, good. All right, digital ham radio. ARRL says more than 50% of the communications right now by hams is digital, which is interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. But there are a lot of digital things going on. There's DMR, which we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. D-Star, C4FM from Yeasu, P25, multiple manufacturers. And there's a lot of data going on too. WinLink, which is an email client. If you'd like to send emails over RF, just go get the WinLink. There's no cost to it. And then there's other things that go with it, Vera, VHF, Vera HF, if you want to do WinLink through dual band or through HF. FT8, I'm sure you've seen that. It's kind of interesting. There's not a lot of ham participation in that. Personally, you don't have to actually talk or anything. But it's interesting to see where your signal's going and who you're picking up. And then there's others, Packet, PSK31, RIDI. There's a lot of data stuff out there. There's so many things that nobody can know everything, I bet. I know I don't. Anyway, I got this from the Motorola Solutions website. DMR, International Standard and all that. European Telecommunications Standard Institute ratified this back in 2005. So it's a European standard. Most recently it was updated in 18. Now, John Birmingham put out a little booklet that Farrell gave me a copy of, and it's interesting. If you want to read different things in it, you can search the internet for John Birmingham Amateur Radio Guide. And it's about a 20-page booklet on DMR, and it's interesting to read. The key with DMR, 2-slot TDMA, which is, let's see, time division multiple access. So when someone is transmitting to a repeater on DMR, what it does is it takes 30 milliseconds of your signal on time slot 1, and it takes 30 milliseconds of somebody else talking on time slot 2, and it alternates that back and forth. So every 30 milliseconds, it's going back and forth. It misses some, but it doesn't miss a lot. And so it actually works, and that allows 2 complete conversations to happen on the same frequency simultaneously. Color codes, those are like tones on normal FM analog stuff. There's 16 different color codes. They don't use those much because you only need them if there's multiple multiple repeaters, in your area. Code plugs, that's the program that everybody fills out to program all your talk groups and your channels and everything. The key thing is it's not hard to do, but it's different from everything else. So if you want to get into to DMR, what you want to do is find somebody that knows how to program the code plugs. Once they tell you, then you know, and you can do it yourself. It's, as I said, it's not hard, just different. Okay, now, if we're going to use DMR, first of all, you need a license for the frequency that you're going to use. Technician license is adequate because all the DMR is on either UHF or VHF. So this is interesting. Somebody who is a technician can use digital radio to talk around the world. They don't have to have antennas and amplifiers and all that other overhead. Also, I've talked to some people in the villages in Central Florida, and many people retire, move to areas that don't easily allow antennas. Now, some of them sneak antennas in one way or another, but this allows them to continue the ham communications around the world with a handheld and either a local repeater or a hotspot. So if you want to use DMR, you have to also get a DMR ID. Whoop, error. Well, that wasn't right. There we go. DMR ID. You go to radioid.net and fill out the form. A couple days, they send you your DMR ID, and then you use that to put into your radio. Go to the network you want to use, Brandmeister or others, and you get access to the network. Go from there. Now, DMR can be used simplex. Farrell and I have set up communications at times with DMR radios, just radio to radio. It works real well. You don't hear the static in the background. Again, depends on conditions. Buildings between you only get probably a few miles. You also used on a repeater, of course. You can use a local 9, which is that's a feature in DMR. If you program a talk group as local 9, that only works on that repeater. So it's almost like analog would be. It just transmits out there. It doesn't run you down the internet to any other talk groups. Or you can go to talk groups, obviously, where you program your radio when you transmit, hits the repeater, runs down to the internet, and then goes out to that server, wherever it is, that handles any particular talk group. Now also, DMR can be used with hotspots. Now, like anything else, some people like hotspots, some people don't like hotspots. Right, Farrell? The old timers like the old time way of doing things, which is use the repeater, hit the internet and go. Now, if you remember from a few slides ago, there are basically 2 channels for the 2 time slots every 30 milliseconds back and forth. So 2 people can be on there simultaneously going to 2 different talk groups. The third guy is out of luck because it's full. Now you can try to jump in there and take it away from somebody, but then he'll just jump right back in and take it away from you later, so you're kind of in and out of your talk group. The busier it gets, the more you'll realize that you want to get a hotspot. Because a hotspot is, there's a lot of different ones. This is the open spot. I have a 3 and a 4 Pro. And They're your own little pocket repeaters that connect to the internet, and you can go to any of the talk groups on whatever network you're connected to. Oop.
By cell, that's a cellular device?
No, but it's connected to my phone right now.
Okay.
It is,
So it's like a, go ahead, I'm sorry.
it's connected on Wi-Fi. And
So your phone connects to that via Bluetooth, and you've got to have a Wi-Fi network in range in order.
this connects Wi-Fi.
How do I get to the internet?
The phone's a
The phone is the hotspot. The phone has cellular.
Or if you're in your house and your house has a Wi-Fi connection, that would be your.
Correct.
Or an actual hotspot.
Or can I just use an app on the phone? Is there an app on the phone? Why do I have to have that device?
Well, that receives, well, okay, yeah, and that's the next step. These came out first, and you needed to use a radio, because that would communicate with the radio on the amateur
I
frequencies.
see.
But there are features now where you bypass both. You bypass everything. You can bypass the hotspot, bypass the radio, and just use your phone and, yeah, Echolink,
Got it.
things like that. But that's a little limiting.
Cheats. That's, yeah.
Yeah. If you're not using an amateur radio, is it amateur radio? I don't know.
reflector that you want, or you can space over and put U for unlink in the 8th position of that field, unlink it first, then put your REF O20AL in there to link it.
So I've I gotta know all the reflectors on that repeater before I connect to it?
Yes.
Okay,
And I use the UR call field to populate all of these
all of the reflectors.
frequently used reflectors, okay, if
Uh-huh.
you will. And so, then I can just turn to it.
Got it.
Bam, push the talk, and then back up to my CQ, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yep. And a lot of the radio softwares will preload all of that stuff into
Right.
it.
You can link directly to a repeater also, by putting in, I think it's a // repeater call sign and the link L command in the 8th position, but there's no need to it because most of the time everybody is on a reflector.
On a reflector.
And that's what everybody's space at here. Bravo, 30 Bravo is Georgia, 30 Charlie is pretty much worldwide. And then on Sunday evenings at 9 o'clock when they have the Southeastern Weather Net, they go to, I think, 20 Alpha or 14 Alpha. And I have that. So,
Thank you.
That's how it goes.
Apologize, everybody.
No, that's exactly why we're here.
Hi, Jeff.
Go ahead, in the back there.
And just to make things more confusing,
Please.
if you have a 705 or a 9700, you can put that radio into terminal mode, and you can connect to an XLX reflector, and then you can talk to other people doing DMR fusion or half these other protocols. Because I only have a D-Star radio, and I just wanted to try and test out these other modes. The only downside is the XLS reflectors, or XLX, I can't remember now.
yeah, you got a lot of different
They're
reflectors.
not really popular. I've only talked to one guy on them, so it was a fun experiment, but I'm not likely to continue down that path. But that is another option that you might be able to play with too.
That one guy is probably just waiting.
It's
Waiting
still out
to
there.
come back.
Yeah, he said the same thing, yeah. So that's an ICOM radio, right? Which it has D-Star on it.
Yeah,
And so you can go to a reflector that,
special kind of reflector that
That-
will transcode all the other protocols. Yeah.
but then does someone else have to find that same reflector? Like if I have a DMR radio or a fusion radio,
Yeah.
I have to find that reflector somehow?
I actually wanted to get with you and demo that before the meeting, but I've just been swamped. So
Yeah, okay, well, that's interesting.
but yeah.
Because there is a radio that Farrell has that says soon that they're going to be able to do everything, right? The Connect systems?
Yeah. They're working on it now.
Yeah, they say that one radio is going to have the ability to go to all the different networks and use all the protocols.
Well, Kenwood's got some out now that will do at least 2 out of the 3 in one radio simultaneously. P25, DMR, NXDN. You can pick from those 3, one more along with the analog and have it in the radio. That's now.
Well,
Kenwood, get your pocketbook open.
there's if you're doing a base station, in fact, I just pulled it up. There's one, it's called the DV Mega, and it basically does all the different modes. But you just set it up on your network at the house, and
That's another hotspot.
it works as a hotspot, but you can also transmit right from it. It'll use a Yeasu mic, and you can just use the rig itself and talk right from the rig.
Oh, so it's a hotspot and a
It's
radio, I
everything,
guess.
all combined. Yeah, and it uses all the different modes.
That's
It's
what I've been trying to bring out.
D-Star, DMR, Fusion.
5 or 10 years, I guess.
That's
Finally
right.
brought it to market.
That's nice, thanks. And All-Star is just another mode, a hybrid mode of all of that?
I think it's another network.
It's another network.
Because that's what the Gainesville repeater is, right? It's an
All-Star is it's basically voice over IP.
But even all star in there.
Thank you.
All-Star involves an analog equipment. As far
Okay.
as the nodes and the repeaters and things, Like that repeater again for the 145, 310. You know, it's hooked up to the All-Star. But you gotta be, do pay a member to get the, node numbers and the codes and everything, they activate it.
So if that Connect Systems radio was available now, I would definitely look into it.
By an heartbeat.
And, but right now it's vaporware. It's, they have plans to come out soon, but what does soon mean?
Base radio, I got the plus model.
Yep.
When it comes out, all I gotta do is add the firmware and software to it.
Right.
Good piece of hardware, and it'll be there.
That's right. That's right. So, but if you want to talk digital today,
That's it.
if you have a DMR radio, you can get to these other networks. If you have a Fusion, you get the same, plus you get P25, which is a little addition. If you have a D-Star, you can get to the same as, you know, what DMR can do. So there are advantages to the Yeasu Fusion digital radio if you want to use P25. Now there is a P25.
Uh-oh.
Looks like somebody finally got on. It took that long. You see, even digital isn't used much.
Sound like an echo, like.
Yeah, that's right. Echo for sure. Yeah, I've got both of these radios, the Alinco DMR radio and the Yeasu Fusion radio. Both. This is cross-moded over to the Georgia 3113 statewide talk group. So it's just to show that they all do it. Well, we'll move on. Okay, how do you get started? First of all, what talk groups do you want? That might take a while because there's 1,600 of them on Brandmeister alone. Find the networks that have the talk groups. Well, because Farrell, you said there was good talk groups on TGIF.
Oh, no.
And-
I like that, they work better than the others.
Yeah, so maybe a little niche network. I don't know how big they are. They're,
They started off, TGIF started off as a single talk group on Brandmeister. And they branched off and there's up and up on our own network.
Yep. So yeah, find out who you want to talk to, where you want to go, find the network that has it, identify the radio that can access the talk groups, and then find somebody who can help you with radio programming. A lot of people try it on their own. They think, oh, I can do it. It's different. It's not like analog at all. Not hard, just different. Now here I threw a few prices up. If you want to see the Alinco, similar to this one, but a newer model. They are always going up in price. I think that one was $200. The one Farrell has is like $150. We have different models, and the new model now is like $290. Anytone has a good radio. It's a little more. Yeasu has a 70 DR, and that's a 70 DR is right here. It's not fancy. It has a small screen. Not as many features, but not as expensive either. And it's still a digital radio that will go everywhere that these other ones will go. And it's currently being sold at HRO and others. There's the FT5 DR. That's a little pricier one. That's what this one is. And then ICOM has the ID52, which is fairly expensive. And then the OpenSpot Pro, that's the most expensive of the OpenSpots. It's like €295, which converts to $315. They run sales all the time. Christmas, they had a sale. So that's really it. Got questions and discussions. If anyone wants to ask specific questions or anything in general. John.
Okay, you want to get on a certain DMR repeater, and it's got two slices, and you don't want to, as you said, get in the middle of somebody else's conversation. Now, when you program your radio, you're programming for a slice and a talk group you want, right?
You are.
Now, if you're looking for the talk group and you turn to that, and someone who is on that slice but in a different talk group, you won't hear them, will you?
You will not hear them.
Now, I heard that the way around that is if your radio has something called promiscuous mode. We're not talking sex here, we're talking the ability to tune to it and listen to whatever's coming out.
There are two ways to tell. One is the promiscuous mode, where what you do is you do a setting in your radio that listens to everything on that channel, that time slot. This radio has a little light in the corner that if you go to a talk group and and there's somebody on that time slot, it'll light up. I think it's green or blue. One is when you're transmitting and one is when someone is in your way. But yeah, gives you a little visual indication that somebody's already on that.
Okay, so if you don't have the promiscuous mode, you look on your radio and see that it indicates that the channel's in use.
Yeah, or when you transmit, you'll get an error. It won't go through. It'll say the repeater can't be reached or something like that.
Now, here's a signal, you'll see the signal on your radio,
Okay.
the receive signal. You won't hear that. So, I mean, that tells you right there, there's something going on.
When you're choosing your talk groups you want to program into your radio, is there some way to find out the ones that are most populated? Because the talk group may sound very interesting to you, but if you look and nobody's on it around here, why bother programming it in? So is there some way of finding out the talk groups that people are talking on?
I have no traffic,
Is there a
If-
website or something like that?
Well, you go to Brandmeister Network website and, you know, work your way down through it and it'll show you the
There-
traffic as far as, you know, how much is taking place. There'll be a graphical indication.
Yeah, well, it's called hose line, right, Farrell?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Brandmeister and listen in, look at what's going on.
It's interesting, we're teaching a course at the technician's level, starting up in February. And so they go through and check and see what's changed from decibel to decibels. And this new session does have questions on DMR radios.
Oh, wow.
They talk about the color code, what it is, and so
Alright.
forth. I mean,
Move it
they're
up.
not getting real detailed,
Mm-hmm.
but, it's important enough that it's on the test now.
Yeah, there was a little bit of digital when I took the 3 tests in 20, but not detailed DMR stuff, just general.
All of your digital communication, and you do it through your open spot?
No, Farrell and I were talking off the repeater tonight, driving in.
Off of which, the Gainesville one?
No, the Sawney Mountain 442.11250.
That's a
So DMR.
DMR.
Or something out, yeah.
on Sawney Mountain.
DMR, yeah, DMR.
442.1125.
But you need a DMR radio to hit it.
Not this old D-Star.
No.
John.
Or, and you can't use Fusion either,
Can't use Fusion.
They're digital, but they don't go through the DMR repeater.
But you could with an open spot. Well, it wouldn't make a difference then, right?
Yeah. You're
You
not
gotta-
using the
Yeah, you gotta have a DMR radio.
No?
No, I can use this to get me to Georgia 3113 statewide.
Oh, I'm sorry, but to get to the repeater on Sawney Mountain, you have to have a DMR radio.
Of course,
DMRF,
of
yes.
course.
Well, to get to it, yeah, but I can talk to Farrell if he's on it, if I'm here on my hotspot.
Gotcha. But if I don't have a hotspot, I gotta have a
But,
DMR radio.
but I can use the Yeasu Fusion radio to talk to my $35 hotspot. And it will transcode to DMR, pump it through the internet, and still come out on the repeater if the repeater is still connected to the.
It is now.
It is now. Okay, so you can talk to everybody that is talking to that repeater using this radio going through a hotspot in the
I
internet.
think my line of questioning is around eliminating that point of failure right there, right? That open spot or
Or-
that thing. So if I want to get from a radio right to a repeater,
You need a DMR.
I need a DMR radio
Then
to
you
get
need
to
to
that
match the
repeater.
repeater.
You will cut out a whole lot of complexity in programming if you go that route. If you find that most of what I want to talk to is on DMR, you're much better to have a DMR radio
You are.
than to use a D-Star radio and go through the hops to
So-
get it to D-Star.
Do you think during all this it'll evolve into a standard or?
No, it's gonna get worse.
Instead of him, it's that whole group in this room, I can't agree on one thing.
All right.
And that is a good point. D-Star was going to be the standard, but, you know, Yeasu introduced their piece, and they have a little bit more bandwidth with what they can do, because you can do video and stuff with Yeasu, and so I think all of them are kind of here to stay, because, you know, you have greater capabilities with more advanced things digitally with Yeasu in some respects, just because of the bandwidth you can pump through it. But, you know, it just depends on what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, they have the digital wide mode, which
Yeah.
they say has better sound because, you know, you have, you
I have
know,
a friend
wider.
that's done it, and it's great, because they've done, this is in the Augusta area, and they'll do search and rescue with it, and they can just snap a picture, and then it just comes up on everybody's radio.
Yeah, well, the ICOM guys do a D-Star net every month, Monday, I think the third Monday, and they do it on D-Star Reflector 30 Bravo. And I've contacted them, I've checked in on that net with both radios at different times. But they send a picture out to everybody that only a D-Star radio can receive. So I've never gotten the picture, because I don't have a D-Star radio. There was a question back here?
Well, I do have I don't have a D-Star radio, I have a DMR, which I won at a travel club rally.
Yeah, which
European
brand?
club Travel rally. I managed to talk to two people, I think in the Atlanta group, after spending about 2 days trying to get that program. Got so frustrated that I put it back on the stand, and that first been until tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you need somebody to help you with the program, that's for sure.
DMR, pretty much DMR though, right? I mean, Chinese radio versus ICOM or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the program is, they're all a little different, but there's so many similarities that anybody who knows one can help you with the others. Yeah, and we have plenty of people that would, which brand is it? Any sound?
VTech, Balfang.
Oh, Balfang, okay.
We'll pray for you.
It'll work.
Yeah,
It'll work. Terminology might be a little different,
Okay.
all the same information.
yeah, like, what was the website that had the program on it? Georgia Digital?
Oh, is it still up?
I don't know, but when I first bought my radio, Farrell had mentioned that there was a program on Georgia Digital website that you had some input in writing, huh?
Yeah, I wrote all the code plugs on there.
So I downloaded it, and it was like 99%, you know, with all the Atlanta info in it, all the repeaters, just everything was in it. And so I just had to make a few little tweaks, you know, for my particular radio. But it was much easier than trying to start from scratch.
Well, this has been informative. I may go home and try getting it to work again.
Yeah,
Is that website still available?
I'm just checking it right now.
I think it's all off of the group site page now. I don't think the website's still up. Last time I looked.
But it's probably
I think
obsolete.
it'll point you to the group site.
One thing that we need to mention is where do you go to get this information? You know, I got a lot of color codes, talk groups, and a list of talk groups, and all of these things. Where do you go to find that information? And that seems to be a problem for a lot of people. And that's that radioid.net website that he had up there on the screen earlier, where you go get your DMR ID. There is a database that has all of the frequencies and the repeaters listed. It also has a list of, click on the little bubble, and it opens that repeater up, and it has all your talk groups and time slots and all of that stuff that repeater owner has put on that repeater. And that's where you go gather this information. So that, you know, and I usually take a little piece of paper and kind of jot down like an Excel spreadsheet, get it all there in front of me on a piece of paper. Then I start putting it into the radio, into the software. Yeah.
I went to program this radio today. There are no talk groups listed for the 1125 repeater at the moment. I'm going to
I'm sorry, what was that again, Greg?
1125, which repeater?
the
Oh, the Sony Mountain, yeah. 442, yeah.
Yeah, the 442 1125. There are no talk groups listed at all.
Oh, I just got that off radioid.net.
That was on the mixed mode repeater. It's the only place I could find that.
That information must not have been updated. We'll have to talk to Brian about that. To get him, because he is the
Well, I
trustee of the
did print this
DMR
off 3
repeater.
months ago.
And it's up to him to populate that information.
I just looked it up
The
on
first
my
time I was going to give the presentation.
let's see,
Yeah, 442, 11250.
11250. If you go to details, it's got no talk groups. If you look at the 444625 repeater, it's got the
This is the 11250.
444,
And it's showing
625
time slot 1 and
of
time slot 2,
regular,
which talk groups are listed.
Correct. The 444.625 is no longer. It would change to 1125.
yeah, talk group details,
So what repeater is that frequency you looking at?
1125.
1125?
And that's on
Radio ID.
radioid.net? I don't know why it showed up here and not there. You could take a picture of that.
Well, that same info is on the old frequency, entered the old frequency.
Yeah, but you said that other one is not active anymore, right, Farrell?
Yeah, the 625 was changed to 1125.
Yeah,
And
it
that's been a
moved to
while back, years
1125.
ago.
Yeah, that was when, what, a year or two ago, they
They had some type of interference or something.
changed,
They moved the frequency.
yeah.
It was interfering with our light down in Noah.
Yeah, something like that. I remember it was something like that. All right, let's see, radioid.net.
Is there a website that has just DMR radios? It tells you what are DMR radios, what are fusion radios, what are D-Star radios?
I would go to like ham radio outlet and search for DMR radio, and that would probably bring up all the ones they sell.
That's a great idea.
I'm not as dumb as I look.
How much money you gonna spend? Got two right here.
Yeah, you want to?
Not a problem. I'll go buy me another one tomorrow.
Farrell's always selling a radio.
Hey, man, I got the wheeling deals, huh?
So who uses DMR now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Professionally, not.
Okay, so commercial DMR. Okay, probably with Motorola's.
Oh, man, I
Yeah.
sweet right there, son.
I've got a.
Oh, no, mercy.
What do I have? I'm not in all the Motorola. It's a 902, so it's a 6580. Yeah, that's a DMR radio. I love it. It works great. Yeah. Yeah.
I just pulled it up.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it. You and Jeff.
Why doesn't it like me?
I don't know. I was about to say, oh.
Because it's just empty.
So, from what I heard tonight, the complexity of DMR, programming, and all of that,
And then I just pick up my radio.
how would any of you convince me to go to a digital radio?
Oh, you have to want to do it. It's not easy.
You know, it's like digital TV, you know,
Yeah.
from analog static, you know,
Yeah.
I miss the old analog, because at least
Yeah.
you can still make out something through the static. Today
Yeah.
it's either on or off, you know, basically.
Yep.
So, and as many hands as I saw go up using DMR,
Yeah.
why would I do it?
That's why we're here tonight.
Yeah,
While we're taking our time.
I mean, I think a lot of those
Explain it.
So-
yeah, show you. And it's, and I guess I'm looking for, you know, I'm only 70 now, but soon I'll be 80, then 90, like some of the other hams here. And I don't see climbing trees, putting up antennas in my future. So I see going to digital, you know, in my retirement years.
So the latest reason that I used DMR was to basically, you know, log in or whatever to or connect to a repeater in Rome, Italy, because my wife and I are going to Italy, and I thought, hey, I can learn some Italian. And what I learned is I don't understand a dang thing they're saying. But hey, it worked, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right. So yeah, it's just another aspect of the hobby. Some people like it, some don't.
I assume that there are multiple software programs for doing code flow. Is there one that's highly recommended?
RT Systems, RT Systems, yeah, they write software for a lot of radios. I have it for my 991, my FT5, the Alinco now, right, Farrell? We got it for the Alinco. I got something else. Oh, the Kenwood, the 480. I have a Kenwood 480.
They didn't do DMR until just very recently, because it is, as you say, complex. Okay?
Yeah.
And
I can't remember what I used. It's something I found online, but I was wondering if there was a.
Well,
you can buy RT systems for certain radios now that will do DMR.
Did you use Chirp, Bill?
And theoretically, you can program it on the radio, but that's even harder than using the code.
That's hard.
It is.
I wouldn't even start that. But
John?
Doesn't, both things have their own software on the web? Like,
That may be what I used. I don't remember.
You might have used Chirp, which is what John
Chirp
was
would work,
asking.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have used Chirp for analog stuff, but
I don't think that does DMR.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put in Chirp, yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I would just do a search for both things, software, DMR.
Yeah, every manufacturer
It's free.
provides free software.
That'd be free.
Because I originally programmed this with the free Alinco software from their website.
Back to reading books for the radio connection.
The book's more confusing. I have an older Bofang than that. I've got the DM5R, and they do have their own software for programming that radio. And it's confusing as all get out, but I got it to work.
62, something.
Yeah, that's way newer than mine.
I found out what my problem was. I searched Cumming, Georgia, which came up with a bogus entry for the repeater. I searched the frequency in Georgia and found the correct entry for the
I say, you're gonna run across stuff like that.
Hey, if it's on the
And
internet,
reason
there's a
you do
chance
this
it's true.
because the trustees will not take the time to keep the stuff up to date. That's the bottom line, because they're responsible for that.
As long as I have the info, I'm happy.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
As long as I can find the info, I'm happy.
Exactly. But, you know, you got, I wish there would be a consensus among all repeater owners. Everybody have Georgia on 3113, but that don't happen. All the networks, it don't happen that way. You got people traveling through Georgia and they program their radios a certain way, and when they get here, oh, it don't work, because it's all different. One repeater owner has it on time slot 1, doesn't have it on time slot 2. You know, that's all of those type things. I mean, it's just, and it's because everybody thinks that their way is better, so they're gonna do it their way. So to me, D-Star had a better idea. We're gonna run it our way, y'all can play or not.
Yeah. Well,
We're
that's,
not gonna have 45 people out
Yeah.
here messing with our network.
well, and that's the way Yeasu Fusion is, right? And the way, what's the other one? D-Star, Yeasu, and,
I mean, I'm just saying, you've got everybody's hands in the pie.
yeah.
It ain't gonna stay one way or the other from one day to the next hardly.
Well, and that's the difference. Multiple manufacturers do DMR, and each one has their own way of doing things.
Exactly. And so that in itself is a problem.
It is.
If you go
Looking
to the
back,
Magic Kingdom,
You know, 20 years ago
on top
now.
of, what is that coaster there? The one with the pyramid-like deal?
Space Mountain?
Space Mountain, yes, on the top of Space Mountain is the Disney repeater for the Disney group. So you can no doubt find a Disney digital mode. You know, go in the parks.
Disney actually was running DMR for a while, and they switched to talk on the second device.
On their phones? Yeah. Everybody has a phone.
They have an amateur radio group too.
Yes. Their main analog system is actually at one of the warehouses.
No.
So, any other questions? We're here for, and maybe a lot of us can help others, you know, with, I like the D-Star stuff. I'm kind of leaning toward D-Star because ICOM uses D-Star. You know, I can listen in and talk with these, but it's not a direct connection.
I think doesn't Georgia Aries use DMR instead of D-Star? Georgia Aries DMR?
The Georgia Aries net is analog.
But they do have a, well, I'm looking at it, they've got a DRATS net. That's D-Star.
That's a D-Star, yeah. D-Rats is D-Star.
Digital rats.
Okay. Sorry to point that out.
Can you, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how people talk to one another, how you scan your talk groups. Like how do you?
You can, yeah. The radios have those features. You set up a scan and put as many talk groups as you want in it, and it'll just run through it like it would any other frequency.
And in order to get to those time groups, you need to be in range of a computer that is, has a time slot that's open, and you want to talk to that talk group.
So it looks like it's based on, the program is based on the password.
Is there a way, I know you said there's only like two.
Yes, it's so like that.
Two people can talk, which is people talk, router off.
Yeah, you just hit a web.
Oh, sure. In a talk group?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a digital, a local digital net every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on 3113, the Georgia statewide. And yeah, there's anywhere from 15 to 30 people on it, and it's interesting. You can ask questions. There's a lot of people on there that'll answer your questions. It is related to DMR, and one time I even used my HF radio, my 991, because it's also dual band, and I went through a hotspot. So I used an HF radio through a hotspot to go to a DMR digital net. Anyway, so people asked about that, you know, and it's interesting just to talk about all the different things that you can do.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, I can take my D-Star radio and just
Yeah, if you're going to scan a group of talk groups, first of all, and you're using a repeater, you'd want to look and make sure they're on that repeater, right?
Do this, do this, do this.
And so if a hotspot would be better, because you could, you know, activate each one, make them all active so that the hotspot is looking at all of them as you scan.
You're just like scanning radio, like a regular AM FM radio.
Yep.
It'll just stop.
Yep. The radio has that feature.
What's the range that you can get? Like how far away can you get to the repeater?
From Sawney Mountain on this one, I live in Sugar Hill, and that little handheld with just 5 watts inside my house can get out to the repeater. If I'm outside, I'm sure I could go a lot further.
And that's without the hotspot.
Without the hotspot, yeah, directly to the repeater.
The efficient line from Motorola is coverage is 15% greater than FM, but instead of getting noisy, you just fall off a cliff and you go to the ground.
Yeah, you either connect or don't, yeah. Yeah, it's always quiet. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm happy with it. I use it a little bit every week, but it's not like an everyday thing.
Is there,
Yeah, well,
or any other kind of events?
it's probably the same as any other UHF or VHF connection.
Can you do satellite?
I've done satellite with both these radios, but not digital, just analog.
I don't think satellites does digital.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. What's that called? Hey, Neil, what's your Starlink, right? Your connection to the satellite? Starlink, yeah. He's got Starlink. Yeah, it's a little different, but
it's kind of a high-class CD, that's what it really is. Just pick your channel and talk.
Which D-Star does the same thing.
are you talking about GMRS now?
Oh, I'm talking about digital. I mean, you know, it's, you know, if you like it, that's fine, I mean, but it's like high-class CB. You don't go through a whole lot of frequencies.
Hey, Paul, is the
Go.
YouTube off now? No? Okay.
Dan,
Yes.
so, the DMR, do you have the capabilities to go radio to radio? Or do you have to go
Oh, yeah.
through a repeater?
No, Farrell and I have done simplex. Yeah. As long as they're both the same type of radio,
The same, okay, yeah.
DMR radios.
Right.
Like you can't do it Yeasu to D-Star or any of that.
Repeater called local 9, and that makes it perform just like a regular repeater. Out nowhere. Take it right here, local. So if you want to talk to easy.
That's why I go to look to listen to you.
That's right. We sometimes talk on Local 9 when we're headed to lunch, because we don't want to turn on all the repeaters on the whole state.
See, you don't want, see, anytime you get on the talk group other than local 9, you firing up that, watch out other repeaters. Really? When you're on talk group Georgia State 3113, what does that mean to you? That means that every repeater in the state of Georgia is listening.
Probably in Washington.
You're talking to everybody in the state of Georgia.
Games in.
On that same
So if you're talking.
On their repeater frequency.
Yeah, but each repeater should have a different frequency.
It does,
They're
yeah.
all connected over the internet. So you go into this one, then it talks over the internet to another repeater, which goes out RF that way.
Big brother is listening, huh?
As I said, complexity.
Yeah. Don't you get it?
Now, there's a
It's a steep learning
sink
curve,
in,
but then it all kind of makes sense.
and the more that sinks in, the scarier.
There's a lot to it. And this was just an overview, you know, just, this is not the details at all.
Chester, there's actually a worldwide group,
Not real good.
and it does our
Fire
repeaters
up
all over the
everybody.
world. And about, what, once every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever it is, they actually have a worldwide check-in net. It sounds just like our Tuesday night check-in net, except it goes on for like 3 hours.
Interesting factoid.
Yeah.
If you look carefully at the press photos of Ukrainian military, they're carrying Motorola DMR radios.
Are they really? Wonder who gave those to them. Wonder who gave those to them.
Don't know.
Tax money.
But they're using not, the military, they're using tier 3.
Tier 3?
You know, tier 3, which is, you know, you have the extra encryption piece to tier 3, so. Whereas most of our stuff is all tier 1 and tier 2.
Yeah, we're not allowed to use encryption.
Yeah.
So I think that the questions have been great.
Yeah.
You know.
You're right.
If you look at the if you search, yeah, that one works. If you search,
So any,
search Cumming, Georgia,
any other?
you get these two that come up.
Yep, they do APRS.
I was looking, I was wondering how, I've seen some.
That's a radio thing, So either the radio does it or doesn't. It's not related to the mode.
I make mistakes.
It's there.
Field day?
Oh. You want to go ahead and sign off with the YouTube?
Yep, I remember your
And you
FT70s.
can actually scroll through it. So it's usually. And then,
The only thing more because
like, you get there, it goes straight
Now,
to the weather.
are you using